How did you get started with pro wrestling, and if you could talk a little bit about the history of the family in pro wrestling?
Sure. Well, from the time I was a little kid, like you said, my father is Sika of the Wild Samoans. My uncle is Afa, and then from there, I have so many cousins: Yokozuna, Samu, Rikishi, who was also Fatu with the Head Shrinkers. My brother was Rosie with 3 Minute Warning and also Superhero in Training. Umaga, who was his tag team partner, is Jamal, and then he had a singles, really legitimate singles run as Umaga, and then also extended through the family is The Rock and Peter Maivia and The Rock's father as well, Rocky Johnson. So it's always been something that has been in my family. It's been a part of me since I can remember, so having a wrestling ring in the backyard has been something that was just a part of my life, So a lot of kids have pools or playgrounds. We had a wrestling ring, so it, and from the time when I was a little boy all the way up until I started playing football. Once I started playing football and realized that, in high school I was going to be able to have a good shot at playing college football, and it actually did happen. I was able to attend Georgia Tech on a full ride. Wrestling was my dream. That's something I wanted to do the whole time. But, as it was, football became a big passion, and it was something that I was able to, have fun and get a free education for. So that kind of took over really from 2003 to 2006. And then, once football was kind of winding down, the reality of, coming back to wrestling, my original dream was starting to set in. I had a bunch of long talks with my father Sika, and he gave me the green light. He gave me his blessing, and from there on, I trained with him a little bit, and then he was able to contact the office and get me a tryout. And from there, it's history. I've been here since.
When you were playing at Georgia Tech, you were a Yellow Jacket. How far did it go for you there? And were there aspirations to go on, whether even be CFL, if not the NFL?
Well, yeah. I got there in 2003. As a freshman, I was a little bit smaller than I am now. But I played defensive end, and as soon as I got there, I caught on pretty quickly, and I was able to play right away as a true freshman.
Quick defensive end?
Yeah.
Were you quick, agile defensive? Because if you don't mind, what were your dimensions about then? You were younger.
About 6'3", 6'4", 250 at the time. So
When you're going up against guys, did you find yourself having to use more of that speed and agility to get around them?
Well, that's how I kind of got on the field, was more in a third down nickel passing situation. So I was able to rush the passer pretty well at that time. So that gave me the opportunity to get in the game and actually contribute a bit. And then once we got into spring ball my freshman year, that's I was able to put on a little bit of weight and really learn the defense and the system, and really settle in as a defensive lineman, learn how to use my hands and things like that. So once I was able to put on a little bit of weight, that's when I kind of found my niche at defensive tackle. Still being kind of a quicker, athletic guy, but all the way up until my senior year, I was able to put on enough weight to be around 300 pounds. So by the time I was done at Tech, I was a legitimate defensive tackle and was able to hold my own and make some good plays there.
Were there any big games, big moments for you playing or being a part of it that you really enjoyed and got out of it?
Absolutely. Every single year, even, and it's funny because the game that sticks out the most to me is a game I didn't play a snap in. It was my freshman year. It was the year after Auburn. I think they shared a national championship. They had Cadillac and Ronnie Brown at running back.
Ronnie Brown, you played with the Dolphins a little bit.
Yeah. They came to Tech that first year, my freshman year, and we ended up beating them, I think, like 13-7, and I want to say they were number 3 in the nation. They had a really high ranking.
They were good, and because you said that, I remember that, because out of the draft, they were talking about Ronnie and Cadillac, saying, okay, can these guys handle it all? They're great backs, but can they handle it on their own if they had to do like an every down, get the ball type of back and all? So putting that two-headed monster on that team, and you guys were able to beat that team.
Yeah, we handled them that day, and I don't know if it was just our day or what, but we ended up winning that game, and it was really neat because, if you're a football fan, especially in the college game, you always see the goalposts come down. And the one thing that was really neat that day is, you know, us beating them at home, our goalposts came down and they ended up cutting them up, all the fans, and passing them out. But just to be able to see the goalposts come down was great.
Did you want a piece of the goalpost?
I did, yeah, and it's cool because that was a big moment, but also like I want to say my junior year we went to Auburn and played at their place, and I had a really good game. I had like 2 or 3 tackles for losses, a sack and a half. You know, I had a really monster game.
Yeah, for a defensive lineman, that's a huge game right there.
And our whole team, we played a really well-rounded, great game that night, and. You know, a lot of times when you go to the SEC stadiums, they have the hedges all around the stadium right there on the sidelines. So
I remember, I'll tell you this, I remember South Carolina. I don't know if you ever got to go to South Carolina.
No,
I mean,
we never played it.
Oh, well, they're right there in the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans are right there with the hedges, and they're right on the field.
Yeah, and if you're able to go in there into an SEC school and get a win, that's cool. You just take a little piece of the hedge, and it's a nice little keepsake. So it was nice to do that night.
So you got a few hedges?
Yeah.